Hey everyone, it's Matthew Deibler, and it is Tuesday, December the 15th. I have a message that I feel is critically important that I want to share with you all today, and it's going to be unlike any others that I've done in the past. So, what I'd like to do is look back to August the 24th, because on that morning I was awakened by a dream, and it was a dream that was very prophetic in nature. What I didn't realize was that my wife, who was lying in bed next to me, she was having a dream of her own, and many of the things that she was seeing in her dream were paralleling what I was seeing in my own dream. And when we convened together and we shared the details, we received a message from God that was extraordinarily profound. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. But the first thing I want to do is I want to share with you my dream through my lens and my perspective, and then my wife's dream through her lens and her perspective, and then we'll get to the message that came out of all of it. So first, my dream. As a family, we were out to dinner, and we were sitting outside somewhere. It was sort of like a mall that had outdoor dining. There was a large group of people at the table next to us, and they were talking about the amazing nature of a visit that they had made earlier that afternoon to what sounded like a worship retreat. They were calling the place the Barn. My wife got up to go to the bathroom near the end of the meal, and after a long period of time she had not returned, and people were cleaning up and leaving the area where we were. So ultimately, I got up with the kids and we started moving, just anticipating that my wife would find us. At one point as we were walking, a woman from the table next to us looked up and she pointed out something in the sky, and I remember my eyes being drawn to the sky as well, and it looked as though the sky was on fire, almost like a burnt orange color. She said something along the lines of, "It won't be long now, the devil is near." And I remember that I agreed with her and I said, "Yes, I've been following this for a long, long time." And then I asked her, "This place, the Barn, is it open to all denominations?" And she looked at me almost with a certainty that led to a grin. And she said, "Well, of course." My wife never did find us, and I attempted to keep reaching her with my cell phone, but the signal that I had was very weak and almost dead. When I was able to finally place a call, it went to another person's voicemail. And when I looked down at the screen of my phone, I noticed that I hadn't even dialed my wife's number. So I tried again, and eventually she picked up. At that point, we were walking around this area of shops near the place where we had been dining earlier, and I was asking my wife to point out to me exactly where she was. She seemed out of it and almost angry with me. She provided me a landmark nearby, which was a vet office, and I noticed that we were right in the same vicinity of that. It's like I could see it. But it was getting dark, and it was still very hard to locate her. At that point, crowds of people started closing in on us, and we found ourselves in this narrowing channel. It was very dark and very hot. As we made our way to my wife, who we could see off in the distance, she was noticeably distraught. And her uncertainty and disconnect, it made my son cry. I told her to witness what it was doing to him, and she advised me then just to go on without her. "Take care of the kids," she said, in sadness and defeat. She couldn't do it. It was like she was standing still at the bottom of an escalator as we were ascending, and I remember I looked down at her, and at that point I noticed this very dark figure approaching her and extending a hand. So I yelled, "Kelly, no, you are coming with us." And I went and I retrieved her, and from there we went to this area where I had two vehicles waiting. I don't know why there were two, but I got into one vehicle with my daughter, and my wife got into the other with my son. And then we started traveling down this dark path, and there was a heavy fog, and we were kind of heading under a canopy of trees. And I kept looking in the rear view, anticipating that I would see my wife and son, but they never showed up. So I pulled off the road into this marshy grass to wait for them and try calling again, but I had no signal on my cell phone, so I couldn't make a call. And I started to feel a lot of anxiety, and it was at that point that I then woke up. So that was my dream. Now here is her dream. Our family was leaving someplace together. I don't remember where we were, but there were a lot of people there. While we were walking to the car, I stopped off to pick up some things. Matt continued to the car with both kids, and I was by myself. My arms were so full of stuff that when Matt called my cell phone, I couldn't answer. I assumed he knew what I was doing, but then he called my phone again, and somehow I picked up. He was loudly asking me where I was, and I became annoyed and flustered because I was carrying so many items and trying to talk to him at the same time. He said he was driving around outside, and I was supposed to be there to go with them. He asked me where I was again, and I told him to meet me at the place where we went in. He said he was out there, and he told me, "Open your eyes." He thought I wasn't seeing him or looking for him. So those are the two dreams. So we came together and we had a conversation, and we were looking kind of for the commonalities in each. And what we noticed was that the storyline was essentially the same. You know, there was a separation between my wife and the rest of the family. We were seeking each other. We were trying to make phone calls and reconnect. But we were experiencing other aspects of the dream in kind of a different manner. My wife was experiencing everything very much in kind of the natural frame of mind. So she was, out shopping, hands full of bags, just overwhelmed with all the chaos of the people. Maybe it was like the holiday season. I'm not sure. But she was sort of lost in the chaos of the world around her. Everything very natural. I was feeling a separate sense of kind of urgency in my dream that was not chaos from the world's natural perspective at all. I was seeing it from a spiritual perspective. So when we were dining, hearing that conversation about this safe haven, a place called the barn, and this kind of escape from what then appears in the sky to be a very ominous fire burning sky with evil nearby, with the devil nearby, and the dark narrowing channel that was very hot, people like confused and lost, and then the dark figure that approached my wife. What I was feeling was a sense of urgency to see and be aware and escape all of that. In her dream, she was very much operating in the natural, as many people are. They're unaware of what's happening around them spiritually because the world is consuming them. It's taking them into distraction, which is one of the devil's primary tools: distract and divide. Now, what we know that in marriage, God unites us as one flesh. And as one flesh, if there is a piece of that flesh that is lost or misguided, then we both essentially suffer the consequences of that. So we need to unite not only as one flesh, but we need to unite spiritually too in this war that we are facing of distraction, deception, and division. We need to unite in our marriages as one. This event, we need to awaken as one. So open your eyes. We need to awaken in our marriages so that we can withstand the schemes of the evil one. Because the end times, they may be nearer than we have ever imagined. So this is powerful, right? My wife was led to a crazy spiritual rebirth out of this experience, and she has opened my eyes to many things that I would not have seen otherwise. And I'm thankful for that. God works in mysterious ways. Listen to him when he speaks. God bless you all. I love you.